Good evening. I call to order the regular meeting of the Show Low Planning and Zoning Commission for Tuesday, October 27th, 2020. Our roll call shows all commissioners present with the exception of Commissioner Roberts, who is excused, and it seems that we are waiting on Commissioner Adams and Vice Chair Hefner, but we do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and open up the meeting. Invocation will be led by Commissioner John Adams, and the pledge will be led by Commissioner Wilson. If you'd like to join us, please stand.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful this evening to have the opportunity to meet together as a community and to discuss our beautiful area and how we can strive to continue to improve and grow. We pray that that will be with us as we go over these things this night, that that will help us to make good decisions and to have thy spirit here. We are grateful for thy beautiful moisture that's blessed our lands, and pray that we'll get more to help our forests. And we're grateful for all those people in the military who serve our country and to protect us and keep us safe. And we humbly say these things in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. And if you'd join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And welcome, Commissioner Adams. And I think we're still waiting on our vice chair, but we'll go ahead and move forward with the agenda. We have no old business. We do have an item of new business this evening, and that is consideration of a conditional use permit application submitted by Compassionate Care of Arizona, Inc., to allow for a medical marijuana dispensary located at 1350 North Penrod Road, that being APN 210-49-123. Ms. Feckel-Conner.
Chair and Commissioners, Compassionate Care of AZ Inc. has submitted a conditional use permit, or CUP, to allow for a medical marijuana dispensary, or MMD, located at 1350 North Penrod Road, that being APN 210-49-123. Staff has reviewed the application and has found that it meets the requirements outlined in 15167 medical marijuana related facilities. Several items have been excluded from the packet due to those items' confidential nature. Those items are available to the Commission members upon request. The Policies and Procedures Manual has been included for review. However, some information has been redacted for safety and security reasons. In November 2010, Arizona voters approved Proposition 203, which allowed for the use of medical marijuana for medical purposes. The proposition stated that local jurisdictions cannot prohibit MMDs. However, they may enact reasonable zoning regulations that limit the land for registered nonprofit MMDs to specific areas. At its regular meeting of September 1st, 2020, the City Council voted to approve a zone change request to change the zoning of the subject property from I-1, which is light commercial, to C2, I-1, which is light industrial, C2, which is general commercial. As stated, the purpose of the zone change was allowed for a MMD at the subject property. For Section 15-167D1, medical marijuana dispensaries are limited to the C2 zone through a CUP. Medical marijuana cultivation facilities are limited to the I-1 and I-2, which is heavy industrial zones. Because this will be a medical marijuana dispensary and not a medical marijuana cultivation facility, a rezone of the subject property to C2 was required. Subject property was previously utilized by Western Grade and is currently vacant. The applicant has indicated that they plan to relocate from their current location in Taylor to the subject property. The applicant will utilize a portion of the building for medical marijuana dispensary, and a floor plan has attached for the Commission packet for review. At its regular meeting of June 4th, 2013, the City Council approved CUP 602-0156, 602-04-156, submitted by Green Hills Patient Center, Inc., or Green Hills, to allow for MMD at 3191 South White Mountain Road, The council included 17 conditions as part of the approval. These conditions were: 1, all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including Arizona Department of Health Service requirements, city zoning, and business license requirements. This conditional use permit is non-transferable. Should a change in ownership or location occur, a new conditional use permit shall be required. 3, the applicant shall comply with all documents submitted to the city as a part of the conditional use permit, including the operational procedures and supplemental materials. 4, the signage shall only display the facility name. 5, hours of operation shall be limited to 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Submission of an application for dispensary registration certificate constitutes permission for the city to enter and inspect the dispensary. 7, an on-site inspection of the dispensary shall occur at a date and time agreed with the dispensary and the city. It is no later than 5 working days after the city submits a written request to the dispensary to schedule the certification or compliance inspection, unless the city agrees to a later date and time. 8, the city may, after receiving allegations of the dispensary's noncompliance with this conditional use permit or state law from a verified source, inspect the property for compliance with notice. 9, if the city identifies a violation of City Code, Section 15167, or any condition of approval, the city may schedule a hearing related to the revocation of this conditional use permit. 10, the applicant shall be responsible for installing and maintaining exterior lighting to facilitate surveillance. 11, a security plan meeting the approval of the Arizona Department of Health Services with a copy provided to the city shall be required prior to the opening of the business. All alarm systems shall apply with Article 4-2 Alarm System Regulations of the City Code. Panic buttons shall be installed in the interior of the building. A security guard shall be on the premises at all times this dispensary is open for business. 12, no loitering shall be permitted on the exterior of the proposed business. 13, only qualified individuals, employees of the business, or other qualified individuals, including city, state, and staff members, shall be permitted inside the proposed business. 4, the dispensary shall not dispense, deliver, or otherwise transfer marijuana to an entity other than another dispensary with a valid dispensary registration certificate issued by the Arizona Department of Health Services, a qualifying patient with a valid registry identification card, or designated caregiver with a valid registration identification card, or acquire usable marijuana from any entity other than a dispensary with a valid dispensary registration certificate issued by the Arizona Department of Health Services, or cultivation facilities with a valid cultivation registration certificate issued by the Arizona Department of Health Services. 15, this permit is for the sale of medical marijuana only. No other product than medical marijuana shall be sold from the site. On-site cultivation is prohibited. 16, the hours of operation are limited to 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with council review in 6 months regarding the days and hours of operation. And 17, a certified security guard is on the premises during hours of operation. At its regular meeting of June 20th, 2017, the City Council considered a request by Green Hills to amend Conditions 4, 5, and 15. Condition number 15 was amended to read, this permit is for the sale of medical marijuana and related paraphernalia only. On-site cultivation is prohibited. Condition number 5 was eliminated, with condition number 16 to remain, which limited the hours of operation to 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. To be consistent with the conditions outlined for Green Hills MMD, staff recommends the same condition of approval shall apply to Compassionate Care of AZ Inc. In their policies and procedures, Compassionate Care of AZ Inc. has indicated they plan to be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. However, staff recommends that the operation be limited to 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., as outlined in the previously approved condition for Green Hills. Findings of fact. Compassionate Care of Arizona has submitted a CUP for a medical marijuana dispensary located at 1350 North Penrod Road, that being APN 21049-123. Current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north, south, and west I-1, and to the east C2. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north, vacant industrial, to the south, quality ready mix, to the east, Northern Arizona Auto Mall, to the west, quality ready mix. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies and no applicable comments were received. The property was posted and letters were sent to all owners within 300 feet of the subject property. No public comment has been received regarding the proposed development. After reviewing the zoning ordinance standards for review, findings of fact, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Shiloh general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 602-04233 submitted by Compassionate Care of AZ Inc. to allow for a medical marijuana dispensary located at 1350 North Penrod Road, that being APN 210-49123, subject to the following conditions. 1. All development shall comply with all applicable state and local requirements, including Arizona Department of Health Service requirements, city zoning, and business license requirements. 2. This conditional use permit is non-transferable. Should a change in ownership or location occur, a new conditional use permit shall be required. 3. The applicant shall comply with all documents submitted to the city as part of this conditional use permit, including the operational procedures and supplemental materials. 4. Signage shall only display the facility name. 5. Submission of an application for dispensary registration certificates constitutes permission for the city to enter and inspect the dispensary. 6. An on-site inspection of the dispensary shall occur at a date and time agreed to the dispensary and the city that is no later than 5 working days after the date the city submits a written request to dispensary to schedule the certification or compliance inspection, unless the city agrees a later date and time. 7. The city may, after receiving allegations of the dispensary's noncompliance with the conditional use permit or state law from a verified source, inspect the property for compliance with the notice. 8. If the city identifies a violation of City Code Section 15167 or any conditions of approval, the city may schedule a hearing related to the revocation of this conditional use permit. 9. The applicant shall be responsible for installing and maintaining exterior lighting to facilitate surveillance. 10. A security plan meeting the approval of the Arizona Department of Health Services with a copy provided to the city shall be required prior to the opening of the business. All alarm systems shall comply with Article 4-2 Alarm System Regulations of City Code. Panic buttons shall be installed in the interior of the building. A security guard shall be on premises at all times the dispensary is open for business. 11. No loitering shall be permitted on the exterior of the proposed business. Number 12. Only qualifying individuals, employees of the business, or other qualified individuals, including city and state staff members, shall be permitted inside the proposed business. 13. The dispensary shall not dispense, deliver, or otherwise transfer marijuana to an entity other than the dispensary with a valid dispensary registration certificate issued by the Arizona Department of Health Services, a qualifying patient with valid registry identification card, or a designated caregiver with valid registry identification card, or acquire usable marijuana from any entity other than another dispensary with a valid dispensary registration certificate issued by the Arizona Department of Health Services, or cultivation facility with a valid cultivation registration certificate issued by the Arizona Department of Health Services. 15. This permit is for the sale of medical marijuana and related paraphernalia only. On-site cultivation is prohibited. And 15, the hours of operation are limited to 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with commission review in 6 months regarding the days and hours of operation. Staff, as well as the applicant, is available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Steckel-Cotter. Commission members, do we have any questions for staff?
I do.
Commissioner John Adams.
Just a clarification on the days and the hours. You said it was originally 7, and did they want 7, and you said it would be 6, or how? I didn't understand.
So originally there was kind of some inconsistencies in the original conditions of approval, so they came back to the council and said that they wanted to be open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I guess they weren't actually doing that. They were just doing 6 days a week. And they weren't even going the full time. So they said, we're going to leave it at 6 days a week, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. So they will not be open 7 days a week.
Correct.
And-
According to the condition.
And if I can clarify on that, the intent of that was that they would be open Monday through Saturday and closed on Sunday. So that would be the 6 day, that would constitute the 6 days.
Any other questions for staff? Do you have any questions for the applicant? Questions for the applicant? Is there anyone in attendance that would like to ask a question or have any comments about this item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring it back to the commission for action. Commissioner Adams.
I move to approve CUP 602-04-233 submitted by Compassionate Care of Arizona, Inc. to allow for a medical marijuana dispensary located at 1350 North Penrod Road, that being APN 210-49-123, subject to staff recommendation.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Josh Adams and a second. Commissioner Wilson have it. You guys want to fight over it? So we'll do a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looks like there's no opposed, no abstentions, so that motion passes unanimously. Director Taraskis.
Thank you, Chairman. As with any conditional use permit, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no appeal is received by the city clerk within that 7 days, this conditional use permit will be considered final and effective.
Thank you. Our next item of business is call to the public. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak with the commission about an item that was not on this agenda? Seeing none, I will refrain from reading the boilerplate language, and we'll move on to item 8, which is approval of the minutes from our last meeting held on October 13th, 2020.
I move to approve the minute.
Commissioner Wilson makes a motion to approve.
I have a comment first, please.
Can we get a second for discussion?
Okay.
Commissioner John Adams,
I second.
second. Okay, now discussion on the minute.
On the minutes, they did not include my comments I made about the tower at their last meeting. I had a concern that the 200-foot buffer was imposing hardships onto the residential lots by reducing the fall setback, the tower fall setback, and the 200-foot zoning setback. And also included that if a car's driving past those lots, it would only spend about 5 or 6 seconds in front of it versus the residents being with the 24/7 looking at that tower. And I wanted to see how we could get the 200-foot clear or visual zone changed. And none of that was added to the minute.
So we could modify the motions to make that amendment to the motion, and staff can take care of the amendment, or?
You could do it 2 ways. One would be, just as the chair stated, make a motion to include the comments made by Commissioner Best, or if the commission so chooses, we could, at this point, not approve the minutes, but then bring them back to you at your next meeting with those comments made for you guys to vote on them as presented versus just relying on us to make those changes. So it can go either way. City Attorney, do you have any preference one way or the other? So whichever way the commission chooses. The minutes are not meant to be a verbatim, and when you have a 2-hour meeting, you know, sometimes things don't get in there that perhaps people feel should be. We apologize to Commissioner Best, and we can certainly get those included, whether you guys approve them as noted this evening or we bring them back at the next meeting. Either way is fine.
Okay. Any preference in how we handle that? We could vote on it to deny the motion to approve and then have that come back to the next meeting, or we can ask staff to make those corrections.
I think we just ask staff to make sure they're put in, but and we know they've been on record, and Commissioner Best has has stated what he wants, so can we just approve him and just make sure city staff puts him in? If he's good with that.
I'm good with that.
Commissioner Wilson, would you be willing to modify your motion?
I will. So I make a motion to approve the minutes and with, as long as Commissioner Best's statements or comments are included in those minutes. Is that
Commissioner
fine?
Adams, do you second that amended motion?
I do.
Any further discussion on the minute? All those in favor of approving the minutes with the modifications that we've discussed tonight, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye. No opposed, no abstentions. So that passes, and staff will make correction to the minutes. Thank you for bringing that up to where we could get those minutes a little bit more clear on that issue. And that brings us to item 9, summary of current events from commission members. We'll start with Commissioner Josh Adams.
I don't have a whole lot, just try to drive safe, go slow, wear a mask, and try to stay healthy.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilson.
I wanted to say I attended the Sholo Film Festival this last weekend. It was amazing. And if you've never been to it, it's really neat to go to, and they are coming next year. The second thing is I wanted to say thank you to the commission for allowing me to serve. This is my last meeting as I take office as city council on December 1st. So thank you so much. I'll miss all of you.
Thank you. Commissioner John Adams.
I'd like to say thank you also. I've been on 7 or 8 years, and it's been a wonderful, I've enjoyed it. I think people should get involved and learn a bit how the city works. It's been great getting to know staff and to learn these codes, and I've enjoyed my experience, and I look forward to the next part of city council. But thank you for the commission for letting me be on.
Thank you. Commissioner Bess.
Be safe, mask up, and vote.
Thank you. And I just have a couple comments. Again, I appreciate Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Adams for serving on the commission and wish them luck on the city council, and I think we're in good hands. The other thing I'd like to just briefly mention is 2 weeks ago, the college president at Northland Pioneer College resigned. His last day was today, and the college did appoint an interim president to get us through the search process and to where we can find a permanent president. And they appointed Dr. Gene Swarthout, who was the previous president prior to President Bess, to lead the college in that effort. So just a little bit of an update from that perspective. Director Kurgaskis.
Thank you, Chair. I do have a few things to go over. First of all, to our 2 commissioners, I think they're taking the cue from the Jeffersons. They're moving on up, right? We appreciate the service that they've rendered to the commission. This doesn't have to be goodbye. You're certainly willing to or welcome to come and sit through any one of our meetings that we have. And kind of in reference to that, the commission did hear a conditional use permit submitted for a cell tower, monopine tower over by Fairway Park. That was appealed. That will be going for a public hearing to the city council at their regular meeting of November 17th. Just a reminder to everybody, even though we have had some pretty good moisture here this last couple of days, we still are in stage 1 fire restrictions. The moisture was pretty spotty. It didn't come through the whole area like we would have liked it to. And so until we see some more activity there, we're still under stage 1 fire restriction. On a little bit of a lighter note, this Saturday, Halloween, one of the popular holidays that we have up here, the city is sponsoring what they are referring to as the Haunted Halloween Drive-Through. This will be at the city park. This will be from 6 to 8. It's essentially a drive-through trunk or treat. We have a number of businesses and individuals who've signed up to participate, to hand out treats to the people that are driving through there. That will be from 6 to 8. We ask that you enter there off of the Dusa Clubs by the city pool. Also, another annual event that's fairly new to the community is the Community Fast of Compassion. This event takes place every year right about this time. Community members are asked if they're willing to participate, to forgo 1 or 2 meals and to donate what they would have spent on those meals to families or to individuals that might be in need. All of the money stays here in the community. We don't send it anywhere else. This was started by a local consortium of churches that decided that there was a need here in the community and looked for a way to address that. I believe last year they raised over $20,000. Again, that was all distributed locally to families and individuals in need. Donations can be made at City Hall or any of the local banks under Community Fast. And then just finally, with the departure of 2 of our commissioners, we have 2 commission seats that will be open. We are accepting application for those seats through the end of the month. So if we have people that are interested in serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission, please just contact either myself or our city clerk, and we can get you the application so that you can get that turned in. We certainly appreciate people who are willing to volunteer their time to serve the community. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Director Turgaskis, and thank you for joining us this evening. We're finished with our business, so now we're adjourned. Thank you.